Hey guys, TheRick here, bringing you another one-on-one with TheRick. Now today we have a very special guest. She's going to be the first female I've had on this series. She is the beautiful and very talented Jennie from Solid Gold. Now Jennie, I really do appreciate you taking the time to do this video and interview with me.
Hey Rick, thanks for having me today.
So let's get started with this interview. Your channel is dedicated to goldfish. When did you fall in love with them?
That's a really good question. I think it's kind of a hard one for me to answer because I've always just kind of been drawn to goldfish. First because they're really cute, and second because of their personable ways. They're more like a cat or a dog in that they really interact with you instead of just swimming around and looking nice. So I think that I've always really liked goldfish, and I've always liked aquatic life in general. And then when it was presented to me in goldfish form, it was just like, well, duh, I like that, so yeah. But probably the first time that I really fell in love with goldfish was when I got my first two really high quality butterfly tail telescopes from Dandy Randas, and I had never seen any goldfish of that high quality before, so it was a really big eye-opener for me to the possibilities of goldfish.
What is the biggest piece of advice you would give someone who wants to own a goldfish?
Well, I really think that goldfish are very different than your typical or average aquarium fish. They have really different care requirements in a lot, not in all circumstances, but in a lot. I've heard multiple stories of people who had lots of experience keeping other kinds of fish like koi or guppies or whatever, you name it, and then they try to switch to goldfish and it's catastrophic, major malfunctions going on. So it's a really different way of fish keeping, and you kind of have to go into it with an open mind and try to learn as much as you can about goldfish specifically instead of just assuming that you know everything, because some things are going to translate over but some things are going to be vastly different. So I would definitely recommend getting a few good goldfish books. Also seeking out other hobbyists who are experienced in goldfish, that would really help too, just so you can make sure that you're getting reliable information.
Have you owned other fish besides goldfish, and if you have, what kind of fish were they?
Yeah, I have. I've had a few other kinds of fish. Nothing really captured my attention as much as goldfish, but I've had a couple betas in the past. I also had a 29-gallon tropical community type tank with kind of an assortment of fish that didn't really go very well together, but I just liked the individual fish, so I put them in a tank. I mean, they got along fine, but it wasn't like the best setup, I guess, if you're going for a nice looking community tank, because I had a few autocinkless, and I had a hillstream loach and an albino longfin bristlenose pleco, which I love. That was an awesome fish. And so they're all kind of like bottom dwelling fish, so the tank was kind of boring because it didn't have any middle level fish or top level fish, so it was a little bit of a boring tank, but I loved the fish individually, and it just didn't capture my attention the way that goldfish do, so I didn't feel it was worth the effort to maintain it all the time, so I decided to sell the fish back to the pet store, and I just broke down the tank and kept more goldfish. But I am very familiar with other types of fish. I used to work at PetSmart a long time ago, so I had to kind of become familiar with all sorts of different fish, and I think that I would someday really like to have a really big koi pond with just like 2 or 3 koi in it. I like butterfly koi especially, especially the platinum ogon, and I think that would be really fun because they're just like big. Koi remind me of like cows. They're so slow and docile, so I think it would be really fun, but I want to wait till I can someday move to a warmer climate because I think I wouldn't really be able to appreciate an outdoor pond very well here in the frozen tundra that is northern Minnesota.
Now, what is the most satisfying thing about owning goldfish?
To answer that question, I'm going to read for you a quote that I really like from this book called Goldfish Breeding and Genetics, and it goes something like this. People that have had experience with the carps and with other fishes, such as trout, appreciate the very real affinity that exists between the carps and humankind, in contrast to many other species. So that kind of sums up what I like best about goldfish, and that is that they're very, very personable, and they don't just swim around in your tank and look pretty. They also interact with you a lot. They always are up at the front of the glass begging for food and staring right at you. A lot of people say that they'll even follow their humans back and forth on the front of the glass. They also can learn tricks and other types of things. Like I have a video where I made a little plastic ball and I drilled holes in it, and then I put their food in there, and they would roll it around the bottom of the tank trying to get the food out, so that was kind of cool. Some people even say that they can learn their names, and I don't know about that, but some people say they can, so you decide. So I guess that I just really like that they're very personable. Also, goldfish combine two of my biggest passions in life, which are animals and art. So goldfish really are a living art form with all the care and cultivation that has gone into breeding the different varieties over the centuries. They really are, it really makes them a living art in my opinion.
Now, is your family or husband involved in the hobby with you?
Well, sometimes I think my family thinks I'm a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs in my obsession with my fish, but over the years they have come to see the value in it a lot more, and they ask me questions about it a lot, and they seem really interested in it, so that's really fun that I've been able to share that with them. And then my husband has always been really supportive, a lot more so now that we have a house, so I have more space to kind of separate my hobbies from his hobbies and have like my own space for all that stuff, because he would get frustrated with how much space the aquariums take up, which you guys all know takes up quite a lot of space, especially if you have big fish like goldfish. But he's always been very supportive, and he also lends a hand when I have extra fish projects that I'm working on or video stuff. He's always willing to help with that stuff too.
Now, I know this is like asking which is your favorite child, but I have to know, what is your all-time favorite goldfish?
Well, if you're asking what my favorite variety of goldfish is, I would have to say the butterfly telescope. They are a fish that have googly eyes, like telescopic eyes, and then their tail is a very full tail, so when you look at it from the top view, their tail fins are spread out like a butterfly, like the outspread wings of a butterfly. So I think that's really beautiful, and they also look pretty from the side too, so you can appreciate them from a pond or tub situation or from a tank. And if you're asking what my favorite all-time individual fish that I've ever owned is, that would have to be Chiba, and he was a male red and white butterfly telescope that I've had. He actually looked more gold than red, and he didn't even look orange. It was just kind of like a yellowy orange, so more like gold, and it was really pretty. And I thought he was a very good example of the best qualities of a butterfly telescope, so I liked him a lot. He was also very cute and personable, and he passed away a number of years ago, but he was a really cool fish, and I actually use him in my logo and my avatars around the internet, so people who watch my channel are very familiar with him, probably.
Now, are there any future plans, projects, or series we can expect to see from your channel in the near future?
Well, I do plan to keep uploading a new video every Monday, which has been my schedule for the past year or so, and I would like to continue to focus on informative and fun goldfish videos. This year I will be continuing my holiday video series. It's kind of fun series I've been doing where I decorate my goldfish tank for the holidays, so I have like a Winter Wonderland theme, Halloween theme, Dia de Muertos, Christmas, you name it, and there's going to be more coming up in this year. I'll also be making a few more videos in the coming months in my What Pet Stores Don't Tell You series, where I talk about things that pet stores either forget to tell you or don't know to tell you or maybe mislead you on a little bit. And I hope to also be starting a book review series where I'll review some of the books that I have, because I have quite a few goldfish books that I would like to recommend for my viewers.
So my last question to you is, what is your #1 message you want your subscribers to get from your channel?
Well, the main message I always want to get across to viewers is that there's a lot more to goldfish than meets the eye, because a lot of times I feel like people look at goldfish and they see a cheap throwaway carnival fish or feeder fish. But if that's all you see in goldfish, then I feel really bad for you, because there's so much more than that. Goldfish have a really rich cultural background and history and significance. If you just look at other cultures around the world, goldfish are a huge part of their culture, and there's so many different facets to them. There's also so many different types of goldfish. They come in all different shapes and sizes, and way more variety than a lot of people even realize. And they don't just have a 3-second memory. They're very smart. They can learn and retain that knowledge. And I just want to help spread that message and help inform people that goldfish are a lot more awesome than what they might think.
So Jennie, thank you once again for taking the time to do this interview with me.
Thanks for having me, Rick. It was fun doing this with you.
Alright guys, that's been another one-on-one with the Rick. Now if you guys have a suggestion for another one-on-one, please leave it in the comments below. And as always, rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.